BRB UK. Worse teeth, better accents.
Hello, and indeed, ahoy hoy. Welcome one and all to a post-PlayStation extravaganza episode of BRB UK. It's episode 543. I am Dan, I'm one of your hosts. Good day. How are you? I hope you're well. Lovely. Another person who I also hope is well is Tim Hibbs.
I just noticed Coleman's background and it distracted me slightly.
Nice.
Yes, I am well though.
Good. And also broadcasting from an exact replica of Tim's flat is none other than Coleman.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
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 Hi, I'm back.
Hi. How the
Sorry.
devil are you?
Went missing for 2 weeks. Work got all the busy. All the petrol was required. I had to fill up so many cars. Big cars. Limos, in fact.
Yeah?
Yeah. 4x4s. Monster trucks. Did them all.
Ooh.
Hard
Nice.
times.
And did you? And I suspected this might have been what happened. Did you accidentally put diesel in a petrol car, and did you have to siphon it out? And was that why you were unable to come? Because you'd actually huffed a load of diesel, given yourself pneumonitis, and ended up needing quite significant intensive care as a result of your mega dangerous, super important petrol job.
Oh, what an oddly specific issue. No, I didn't.
It is.
I didn't have that. But as you can tell from the background behind me, I made so much money in all my overtime that I bought an exact replica of Tim's flat. Just the living room, mind. It's a very nice flat. I couldn't afford the kitchen. Too nice.
Nice. It is. It's a lovely. It's a beautiful place. And have you also got the constant as a water feature? Have you got the constant sound of a replica of Tim having a pee for no good reason whatsoever?
Yeah, I had that in the old flat. Everyone's got one of those, don't
you? Yeah, this is true. Actually, very true.
Anyway, yes. Sorry for audio listeners. My background is Tim's flat because Tim went for a wee once when we were recording, and I got a screenshot of his flat.
What do you mean once? He's always going for a bloody wee
show
when we're recording. Oh, chaps. Yeah, I'm not speaking for the moment, so I'm a bit bored. I'm going to go for a pee.
I mean, I don't think I've ever said that.
I'm going to go for a pee.
It's usually a case of I need to go for a pee.
We all know that's what you're thinking. We all know that's the case.
I mean, Dan's about to speak about Destiny, so I'm probably about to go for a pee in a second, but
Yeah, off you go.
Yeah.
Off you go for a pee.
Yeah.
No, I only very briefly going to talk about Destiny because, of course, I've been playing Destiny and it's new season time, which is always exciting.
Love
the
seasons.
Season is Season of the Deep.
Right.
Must be the season of the deep.
It is the season of
Must
the deep.
be the season of the deep.
Yeah, it's or summer, as some people like to call it. It's an odd season. So basically, we're picking up where last one left off. The last season left off, and there are shenanigans abound.
Right.
There are some, guess what, moderately poorly explained plot points. For some reason, you are helping get communication going with what can only be described as ugly Shamu from SeaWorld.
Right.
And you can now go fishing.
Right.
Okay.
Apologies if I appear
Just gonna leave it at that.
The sun has suddenly become incredibly bright in my room. I can't see anything.
It's ruining your background as well. But anyway, has that got anything to do with the plot of Star Trek 4? The Voyage Home. Is it that
no,
kind
actually,
of
there
space
is.
whales
That is a good shout.
No,
no, there's no time travel involved, as far as I can work out. But you are helping. You're helping with a returning character, Deputy Commander Sloan, who has reappeared on the scene with Titan, as in the planet. This technology is working, so I'm really glad that everyone pays attention when I talk about Destiny.
Coleman looks like a ghost at the moment. It's making you look like a ghost.
This is all
do the pottery thing.
This has all gone horribly wrong. I'm going to leave.
It has all
gone
horribly
wrong. I can't be in Tim's anymore.
Go. What even were we saying? I've forgotten. Yeah, Destiny. It's a thing.
Sorry.
Yeah. I honestly have just completely
something
lost all
about space whales.
Oh, space whale. Yeah, there's space whales now.
Right.
So on Titan, living under Titan,
Yep.
is a giant space whale
Okay.
who I'm going to call Ugly Shamu for the purposes of argument.
Ugly Shamu.
And Ugly Shamu, fresh from being released from SeaWorld, Shamu has found themselves, caught up in some form of space-time continuum, clearly, and is now trying to dish the deepest, darkest secrets of what they know about the darkness and the witness through the medium of returning character Deputy Commander Sloan, who's been taken by the Taken, but not completely taken by the Taken.
Not completely taken by the Taken.
Not completely taken by the Taken.
I'm glad.
Are there more details than this? Not that I've encountered yet.
Okay. Moderately napped.
There is a mission that purports to explain some mysteries about the space turnip that is the Veil. Doesn't really explain much about the Veil, it turns out.
I feel I've missed
a
few steps in Destiny 2.
Yeah.
So I'm sure the story will come to something. I'm getting quite used to early on in the season just going, right, okay, that's a thing, I guess. But yes, so space whales and space turnips is where it's at with Destiny.
I don't know how we went
Next
from
question.
the sphere and the traveller and some mystery to do with things in the moon, and now we're at space whales not explaining space turnips. Like, how do we go from one to the other?
I have no idea.
Just did. You're right there, Tim.
Yep, you've both got nice TVs now.
Excellent.
Me and Coleman are entertaining ourselves by virtually living in Tim's flat. Again, apologies, audio listeners. This is why you should put your video version on this.
I mean, I'm not sure it's worth the price of admission, but okay.
What do you mean it's not worth the price of admission? Stop doing your interior decoration down, Tim. It's a fine flat you have crafted.
You see my copy of Ticket to Ride back here, and nice little.
I like my
Star
my Mirror Universe PS5 just over there.
Mhm,
Look at that. So I've been playing Destiny. I shall attempt to report back now and again, but that will make Tim slip into a coma.
I'll ask though, what was the big ad? Was there a new raid, or was there what did they actually add?
So there's a new look, very good, Tim.
Yeah.
I've trained you well. There is a new dungeon launching this Friday because I haven't mastered the power of time travel. Can't tell you what that's like yet, but I'm guessing it's going to be underwater fun. Is what I'm guessing.
An underwater
dungeon.
That doesn't sound like a great idea.
Yes.
Under the sea.
You're drowned.
Yes. This sounds like it's about to go directions that I'm not sure you want it to go, Tim.
I don't know.
Sure. Why not? Okay. Yes, it's an underwater dungeon. Is that what you're hoping for? An underwater dungeon? Do you know what it is underwater?
I mean, wet dungeon probably sounds worse, so let's avoid that one altogether.
It's a moist dungeon.
Definitely avoid the moist dungeons. That's bad for everyone.
Avoid the moist dungeons.
Yeah.
But there are some new. They've done a massive pass on balancing weapons and exotics, which, to be fair, has made the game feel quite fun.
Good.
There are new bits of gear to earn. The one which I've got so far, again, seems quite fun. I mean, it's early on in the season, but I very much feel they're in a holding pattern quite markedly until the final shape lands, which we'll come on to in a bit, because that was barbled on about kind of in the PlayStation showcase. So more Destiny's a thing.
Still can't play it on Steam Deck though.
No, because you might be a filthy, dirty cheater if you do that.
Yeah,
apparently
Proton doesn't like it.
No. Well, no. Also, Bungie don't like it. They somehow can dispatch scary people to your house and work out if you're playing on the Steam Deck and then promptly ban your account.
Well, how come that new one, I've forgotten the name of it off the top of my head.
The ROG.
The Ace.
The ROG Bog.
Yeah, that one. The Ace. That can play it.
Zephyr? I want to say Zephyr for some reason. It sounds like a handheld kind of name.
No, I mean the.
No, not severe. Not like, he tripped over. He's got a severe sprain.
I'm sure it's been
No,
mentioned.
it's
like Zephyr.
okay.
2 seconds. It's called the Asus ROG Ally.
Oh, there we
Yes.
go.
ROG Ally. And it's a handheld Windows PC that can play Destiny. And one of their big things of because it's one of those PC handhelds that on paper has better stats than Steam Deck, but because of Steam Deck's Steam OS and running off Linux and everything, it will run a lot of games better than this handheld can. However, one of the things that they tout is a lot of the games that will automatically get flagged as cheating engine will, because it's been played on Steam Deck, will run perfectly fine on this handheld. It's Destiny 2 being one of them.
I mean, interesting. I mean, I have heard that if you install Windows on your Steam Deck, you can run it that way. To be fair,
I've heard that too, but no one does that.
Who wants to put a window in your handheld? That's not a good idea. Like,
and Tim
can't
woke
open
up.
it for freshness and
Yeah, thanks, Tim.
You, Tim. Well done.
it's not a good plan.
Thanks, Tim.
Lovely.
Cheers, mate.
Make a good door, not a good window. Know what I'm saying? Ha ha ha. Dad jokes.
Christ. Yeah. Why do we do this every week?
I don't know, but if I could turn the conversation around while I'm talking about those pesky handhelds that we like to play around with, specifically the Steam Deck.
Yep.
Because I've been so busy that I haven't really done any gaming in the last 3 weeks. But a little thing that I've been going back and forth on is trying to get. You guys were saying while I was away, wondering if I was playing the Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. No, I am not, because as I said previously, I haven't finished Breath of the Wild. I feel that's something I should finish first before going off and doing Tears of the Kingdom.
Very good.
Yeah. So I booted up my Steam Deck, and upon loading up, Link just, without touching the Joy-Con, just started running left and then climbing a wall all on his own. And I went, oh,
he does that.
That's what stick drift is like. So I know you can get if you've got Joy-Cons with stick drift, you can send them to Nintendo and get them replaced, even if you don't have the receipt, and even if they're not under warranty anymore, you can do that. I just haven't done that yet. Do
you know what happened?
What?
I think you've got the German version. So Link to the Past is left, and that's what's happening. He's just going left.
Left to the
past. How the game's
That's,
designed.
that's what's happened.
Yeah. See.
Yeah. So anyway,
that joke.
Apparently,
funny joke.
Apparently, just in time, because Nintendo have managed to pull the piece of software that is used to pull extract the data from your Steam cartridges to in the only legal way you can emulate your Steam games on different platforms. Nintendo has put an injunction on the actual piece of software you can do that. So just in time,
oh dear.
I thought I'd give a go of trying to make my Steam games work. My Switch games work on my Steam Deck. Started with Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild because I haven't been wanting to play it. Did some messing around, finally got it working properly. I got it working at 30, and then after trying different patches and mods and stuff, it just kept slowing down. Finally got it to, mainly because of an early access version of Yuzu, I managed to get it to a stable 60 frames a second. And then when I connected it to my monitor, I went, oh, this looks horrible. And then loaded up the Switch again and went, oh, that looks much better. And looked around online, and apparently you shouldn't try to emulate Breath of the Wild, as it just doesn't like being emulated. The only way you can do it.
So was it like just poor frame rate, or did it look just? It looked like butts in all kinds of new and interesting ways.
It looked like I had taken the screen down to 520 and then tried to blow it up in 4K. Everything went very fuzzy and odd. It was kind of like, when you connect it, you play it in handheld and it looks a certain way, and then when you attach it to the dock, it looks a certain way. It was like I instead of looking a certain way in the dock, it looked like it was looking like the handheld version in the dock. So I don't know if
so there's a dock in your dick.
Yeah, I don't know if it's because I said it.
It was a dock in your dick.
Oh, do you know what? I think I know what caused that as well, off the top of my head. Anyway, I just gave up on it, and I will try some of the other games that I have legal bought cartridges of. I will try emulate them and mess around with that, just out of blind curiosity, like messing around with this stuff. But apparently, if you were a person that wanted to play Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild on your Steam Deck, the way to do it is actually to get the Wii U version and emulate that version, and then mod the holy hell out of it to make it run really well. But apparently that's the way you do it. You don't bother with the Steam version, the Switch version.
Oh.
But yeah, it's fun to mess around with, and I've learned a lot.
Is that because they did something
good for you. And I'm sure that would Nintendo would be glad to hear that.
Possibly, Tim. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'll have to look into it more, but I'm gonna try Mario Kart next, I think.
Well, I'm sure Nintendo's lawyers will be very happy to hear that you've learned something.
Well, I didn't,
and even happier to learn your address.
I didn't download pirated versions of it. I used the software that, while it has been removed, is literally the only legal way you can get your ROM from your your cartridge is to get your own manual version of it.
Mhm.
But if you ever look at Nintendo's terms of service, if you take a screenshot from your game and share it online, that is against their terms of service,
breaks the terms of
despite the
service.
fact they have a button that you use to take screenshots of your games built into the Switch and the function to share them online.
Hey,
So Nintendo go against their own terms of service.
They don't have to prosecute everyone that breaks their terms of service, but it does mean that if you do something with that they don't like, they can say it breaks the terms of service. You need to take that down.
And we've been seeing that
it's a
recently
catch-all
because
thing
there's
rather than-
the YouTuber whose name off the top of my head
Got
escapes
catch 'em all,
me,
Tim.
but there was a
Mhm.
whole thing where a YouTuber who
Gotta see them all.
he uses mods in different versions of Breath of the Wild to make interesting games out of it, do little challenge runs and stuff, and that was his content. He went ahead and made his own mod that he was developing, which wasn't sold. And this is where they have big problems with mods. Mods will take existing content and add to it.
and fight
Where
rockers.
this one was a mod that would use the
no, it's not
existing
1960s
content
Brighton, Tim.
and shuffle it around, much like Majora's Mask, and
Right.
and make random mods that
Filthy
way.
grease.
But Nintendo decided to just DMCA strike every single one of his videos on his account and get
Oh,
it done.
God.
So yeah, Nintendo
God bless them.
they are fun sometimes.
God bless them.
Don't
Mhm.
mess with the mouse
saying
or
that-
with
Oh,
Mario.
Nintendo.
That's
I'm
what
not
you
going to
learn
complain
from-
if they never send us review copies, and I'm not going to post a World War II bomber pilot on Twitter when out of anger to insinuate that I might bomb the Japanese. You know, like more reputable
I know, right?
news
That-
services might do.
Oh, who did that?
Wow.
Kotaku, their
Really?
head writer.
Oh, I'm so going to guess that.
Did you
what
miss
a
this?
surprise.
Oh, yeah. I know they were having
Remember I was-
arguments with them. I didn't know they posted a picture of World War II.
So
It's a bit.
the
below
thing I
the
was talking
belt.
about a couple of weeks ago of all the pettiness
It's
between
Kotaku,
Kotaku and Nintendo, one of their head writers responded and went, "This is how I feel when." I'm sorry, I shouldn't put on silly voices when doing quotes. It's quite a petty thing.
No,
to
please do. I enjoy the adenoidal
Yeah.
take on it.
They went, "This."
Thank you.
I think because the tweet has been removed, it's a bit hard for me to read it off. But I think it was along the lines of, "This is how I feel when Nintendo withholds." Or a company withholds their review games from us, and then they put a picture of a World War II fighter pilot who, on the side of their
Wow.
plane, has a bunch of swastikas and a bunch of Japanese rising suns to signify how many of those pilots, either how many they've bombed or how many pilots they've shot out of the sky. Which a lot of people took
Right.
as, oh, well, then he's clearly saying he feels like a Nazi. I was like, no. He's saying that he's going to bomb the Japanese. That's
Yeah.
what I took.
Stay
Okay.
classy.
Love Kotaku.
Wow. Mhm. Man, I was actually thinking, I remember the days when Kotaku hadn't descended into this kind of madness. It makes me feel old. Like, I remember when they weren't actually, the video games equivalent of the Daily Mail. It's giving too much credit. I mean, the National Enquirer is what I mean.
Well, you've got
but
to remember
yes.
as well, there's two different Kotakus. There was the Kotaku that got shut down by Hulk Hogan because it was owned by the Gawker.
Yeah, but it's true.
And then there was the UK Kotaku, which I believe is the current version of Kotaku, which wasn't,
Kotaku.
which had its own independence from the
Reeves.
Gawker. I don't know if it's owned by another company or how that all works,
Okay.
but yeah. And there's been a lot of kind of defense for Kotaku because of the way they've been treated by Nintendo, and I kind of agree. Yeah, if Nintendo aren't going to send you a review copy, then yeah, report the news on all the leaks and stuff and put that in an article out of spite. That's fine. You were absolutely within your own right to do that. You're a news reporter reporting on the news. And the news in this case is video games news. All fine with that. Just don't complain about it. Don't go, oh, Nintendo didn't
Yeah.
send us a review game. Because
Yeah,
you did
that's
your
when,
thing.
that's when it gets
I thought you
unprofessional.
said you weren't going to do silly voices.
I know. But that wasn't emulating someone specific. That was just generic and
Yeah.
voice.
Is that your generic nonsense voice? Is that the voice that you imagine people have?
No,
when they
that's
write a letter of
the love
complaint to
child
their
of
MP?
Yoda and Scooby Doo both work at Kotaku. Didn't you know
Wow.
that? Yeah.
Yeah. funny
I
joke.
think Gilbert Gottfried was in there somewhere. I don't know. Maybe Bobcat Goldthwait.
Nice.
Anyway, went off a bit of a tangent there, but I haven't been playing anything. But I've been.
Did we? I didn't notice
It's not
at
like
all.
us.
Long story short of it, there's a new season of Destiny 2, the Season of the Deep. Coleman's been trying
Fish.
to legally, as much as he can, emulate video games on his Steam Deck to
Don't
varying
sue us.
degrees of success. I don't think we'll get sued. At the most, they can put
Probably.
a content strike on our channel that we don't have any Nintendo content on. I don't know how that works.
Oh, I don't know.
Anyway,
We-
right. In place of headlines, there was kind of a big thing that just happened, and really
Yeah.
nice
What?
of PlayStation to do this.
What?
But they did a PlayStation showcase, which isn't the state of play. The state of play is the smaller 40-minute, 1 hour type things. This was like a 2 hour live stream of all the different PlayStation things, goodies you can be expecting. The last PlayStation showcase, I believe, was the reveal of the PlayStation 5. So this is pretty cool that we got one of these. And they were nice enough to put it out on a Wednesday just for us. So we didn't have to miss it.
I know
this
they
week.
finally got our memos
Jim Ryan
about.
finally
you know,
got
we
all
record
my,
on
my,
a Thursday.
my letters.
Yeah, just before we get stuck into the general minutiae of that, two things. One, I was going to balance things out a bit by trying to play a bit of Planet of Lana, which came out on Game Pass this week. So I thought I'd be able to, balance out all the PlayStation
I
with a
want
bit
it
of
on Steam
Xbox
Deck.
stuff. I downloaded it on my Xbox One, but then it was actually my Xbox Series
Thrilling
S.
review so far.
And but I started trying to play it on my Xbox One and playing that on, what do they call their cloud service thing again? I can't remember, but anyway. But yeah, but that ran like arse through the cloud, so I had to give up, basically. So I haven't played much Planet of Lana, basically. Not enough to really
Arse
talk
Cloud,
about it.
gotcha.
But yeah, hopefully come back to that in the future.
That's fine. I wanted to play that on Steam Deck anyway. If you want to know our initial thoughts on Planet of Lana, that was in our last EGX special where I was playing that, and really looking forward to it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to playing that.
Looks nice.
Anyway,
Can I just make an observation before we start getting into the nitty-gritty of the PlayStation showcase? No, I'm going to, Tim, because you just engaged in several seconds of whimsy for no good reason. So I'm going to engage in some more seconds of whimsy, if that's okay. I never appreciated how Jim Ryan looks like a budget Gordon Ramsay impersonator until now.
I've got to be honest, I don't see it.
Fair enough, that was worth it.
Don't you?
But
he totally does.
It's a funny observation, nonetheless.
It could be Gordon Ramsay's brother, maybe, but maybe not budget Gordon Ramsay. But budget Gordon Ramsay's brother.
He's budget Gordon Ramsay. He's bloody got. Look, I'm gonna for our viewers. Look, Larry
great,
is.
now I've got to put that in the show.
Yeah, you have.
Cheers.
It looks like Gordon Ramsay. Looks like budget Gordon Ramsay.
I mean,
Brian Ramsay. Let's call him.
I think he looks more.
Can you
like
imagine
Keith
him
Chegwin than he
calling
does
someone
Gordon
an
Ramsay.
idiot sandwich?
Yes.
I can imagine. That's
Poor
a face
people.
of a man who's definitely called someone a donkey more than once.
Again, poor people.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to stop sharing now.
Any president and CEO, it's usually poor people.
Why do you have to be president and CEO?
Because they like
It's been
Because
money.
they're greedy. Yeah. They're greedy. They're like multiple titles.
I mean,
as well as all
is
the
one
money.
of those not enough?
No.
Is one of those not enough? Do you feel like you have to be like extra flex double hard to be an absolute blowhard about these things? Not only I'm CEO as well. Mind you, I bet you Trump, if he got in again, would like to call himself president and CEO of America.
Sure, I'm sure he would.
I get the feeling.
Anyway, should we talk about the PlayStation
Be
Showcase
huge.
2023?
Huge.
Signifying
Be
that
huge.
this is the one for 2023.
Yep.
Yes.
So before we go into
Presented by Gordon Ramsay. Best show
before
ever.
we go into all the games that were shown off and what we're excited about and stuff, overall, I thought this was a very good showcase. I saw a few people complaining, but much like whenever one of these comes up and I say there tends to be something for everyone, this was one I was looking forward to because of certain games that I knew were coming, but also I really enjoyed it because there was a lot of games that I didn't know existed and weren't sequels to anything. They were new, interesting looking games, new creative looking games, and that's kind of what I felt a lot of video games in the last few years have been missing, where I haven't seen something and gone, that looks exciting and new and not a sequel to something. I'm really looking forward to playing this.
Yeah, I mean, I think my so we'll go into it a bit more detailed as we go. But I mean, there are a couple of kind of obvious slam dunk things that are in there, which I think everyone was expecting updates on.
Spider-Man.
On the newer things, I kind of felt it was. I mean, I know that's the design of this kind of show reel, and I think it's more of a show reel than a showcase. To be honest with you. There was very little to actually explain for some of these games what the hell they're about. Perhaps it's just me being a grumpy old man, but like the foam party one or whatever it was, I was like, all right, well, that looks interesting.
Here's our answer to
I suppose
Splatoon.
It looks derivative.
Yeah, it's like,
Splatoon,
exactly. It's very derivative of Splatoon. But what the heck is that about? Like the heist ones. Like, okay, so what kind of game is this exactly? You know, I kind of felt it was a bit light on some details about it. I mean, yeah, they look pretty, but you know, perhaps I'm too old and grumpy to get overly excited on a trailer alone.
And that's fair, but the general kind of default way of presenting a brand new game in one of these things is to usually go, here's a pre-rendered cutscene trailer that won't tell you much about the game. It will just sort of give you an interest if you should be hyped or not. And I will admit, Phone Party was the first one that went, I do not care about this. But then when I looked into it further,
that seems slightly ridiculous.
When I looked into it further, there was mention of it trying to, it's going to try and be like PlayStation Splatoon. I went, well, I like Splatoon, so maybe I might like this. But with the aesthetic of a pre-rendered trailer that doesn't show you any gameplay, I wasn't that excited. And also, I will
kind
admit,
of hinted at gameplay quite heavily, though, no?
It did show some gameplay.
Yeah.
It was like the vertical kind of like building foam bridges and stuff, which I have to
Yes,
say
but not
from a
actual
physics
gameplay
perspective
is what I'm
makes
saying.
absolutely no sense.
But what I'm
whatsoever.
saying is
You
no
can't-
actual gameplay.
I think they did.
Oh, was there?
Yeah,
That was all pre-done.
There was some definite gameplay looking stuff.
Yeah, you are
Either
shooting
that
out different
or their
coloured
CGI
foam.
artists took the afternoon off.
Yeah. You are shooting different coloured
So you're-
foam. You are surfing on that foam.
Okay, so
Like,
you're telling
there was
telling me, because in what I watched, there
I'm not
was no
saying it
indication
was-
to say that is
Yeah.
a vertical slice or a creation.
Yes,
of,
we don't know that. I'll
gameplay.
admit we don't know whether it's actual
pointing out-
gameplay or
it's a suggestion of mechanics in a pre-rendered cutscene.
yes. Yeah,
Which is what I'm
Right,
saying.
But I think that was a problem for this presentation overall a little bit.
Back off the
Like you
mic.
said, it could have done with someone presenting it and giving a few more details. I don't know if they did that deliberately.
Gordon Ramsay's too expensive.
Yeah, I
for
don't
that.
know if
That's
they
why
did
couldn't do
that
it.
deliberately so that people people can report more details, because there are more details on the PlayStation blog for a lot of these games. There have been more details coming out today, and whether they did that deliberately so that sites can do that and PR companies still have something to report on the back of this. I don't know if that was a deliberate move or whether it was just a bit of an oversight and people are filling in for the gaps that they left behind. But I also thought there was a few too many things where we don't know release dates for a lot of these things, and we don't really know.
Yeah, that's true.
There was also a few things that people felt were missing from this presentation, and a lot of that came down to but a lot of that came down to first party things. And I think some of that was just the fact that they announced it a week or so ahead of time, and so everyone got their hopes and expectations up. A lot of people speculated on loads of things that were there, and there was just a massive list of things that people speculated about that could never have been, like, it would never measure up to everyone's expectations. There were things that I was disappointed they weren't there because other people predicted that they might be.
Yes, and every time one of these live stream comes up, and you will see a million different tweets saying a bunch of different things of what's going to be on there. Just assume no one has the inside scoop, and they're all talking out their ass and they're doing it for clicks.
Yes.
But my goodness, isn't it fun to talk absolute nonsense beforehand?
Exactly.
That's what I enjoy. The mad theories that people come up with.
One of my favorites a few years ago, someone went into, I can't remember if it was E3 or it was Gamescom or a Nintendo Direct or something, but they went through and they got so many things right. And everyone after the fact absolutely raised this Twitter account. And it turned out what they did is start a new Twitter account, made a stupid load of predictions, and then just deleted the ones that weren't true. And then suddenly everyone went, oh my God, this industry insider knows everything. And then after a while, after the tweets went, the follows went up, went, ha, trolled you. I thought that was quite funny. Anyway, the other thing I wanted to point out is, especially since like the last few big tentpole games that have had big problems with them, looking at you, Star Wars specifically, When I see gameplay footage of something I may get excited, but that doesn't make me go, I need that game day one, because now I'm going to have to wait till all games come out before I get them, unless I get sent them. But we'll start off. So this isn't an order of what was shown at the show.
Yeah, you put things in a slightly strange order.
Yeah, it's meant to be like a pick of sort of order of excitement online from what I can gauge. So first of all, we've got the Immortals of Averum, which I actually thought was a very interesting one. This is from EA, and it's a first-person shooter, but more kind of like the Ghostwire Tokyo thing, where it's all done through spells through the hands, and but done in a much more kind of fast-paced, kind of adrenaline junkie type first-person shooter, which was something that really caught my interest because I've been getting more and more into first-person shooters over the years, and this one looks interesting, and I like that hook of going around being a spellcaster.
I do like the look of it, but you are aware that this was one that we'd seen gameplay of before, yes?
Yes, totally. But I'm saying the look of this trailer that came out looked amazing. But
I
again,
think
the man just have some excitement, Tim. For the love of God.
Yeah, no, I don't want to, piss and chat. But this is one that I was very much like, I will wait for this to be on Game Pass or PlayStation Plus. I don't think I need to be rushing to this one. But it looked okay. It looked interesting.
I'm done with the subscription. I'm done with hoping things go to subscription services. If I'm excited for a game, I'll just get the damn game. I'm living old school, baby. Yeah. We also got Concord is coming next year to PS5 and PC. This is from Firewalk Studios, and that was just a pre-render like teaser type thing. We didn't really get
nice burger.
That was a vibrating burger and a pickle.
Vibrating space burger.
Vibrating space burger.
Yes.
With cheese.
With cheese.
Next up, we had Tim's highlight of the show: PSVR 2 games revealed.
Oh God!
I mean, there was quite cool.
I'm just gonna.
Yeah, there was. Right, I thought what they showed was good, but overall, it was still a little disappointing. As I said, I'd got my hopes and expectations up, and this is one area where I'd been looking at quite a few things, and there were quite a few other PSVR gamers, content creators, and people that were generally a bit disappointed with what was there. Just because
but you'll get a
kind of
blog.
expected. Yeah, we kind of expected Beat Saber to be shadow dropped. That was kind of expected.
Oh, it wasn't?
Huh?
I thought
was it
Beat Saber?
Yeah,
I thought it was.
All right, you made it the way you said
what?
it made it sound like it didn't happen.
Made it sound like
wasn't
it wasn't
shadow dropped.
Well, it did and it didn't. It was kind of hokey-cokeying in and out of the PSN store for a good couple of hours after they said it's out now, and it wasn't out now when they said it was out now. They also shadow dropped another game yesterday, which just seemed weird to not mention it at all when it seems like it's a decent game. Dreadhalls, seems like it's okay. So
they might not have paid enough money.
That is also true, but it just the whole PSVR 2 store and continuing on from the PSVR store just seems to work very oddly and not entirely smoothly, basically. And this is another example of that. But the stuff that they did show, I thought was all decent. I'm very much looking forward to Synapse, and the fact that we got a release date for that's in July means that May, June, July has all been 3 really good months for releases of PSVR 2 games, so that's pretty good.
Correct me if did I hear, because the voiceover was driving me crazy. Was that David Hayter?
It is David Hayter. David Hayter's playing the bad guy, and
okay.
To add even more to that as well, Jennifer Hale has been announced as the kind of the voice in your ear as well. So she's playing on the protagonist side as well.
That's not Solid Snake. We don't care.
But that's 2 really good quality voice actors, and that was actually probably as exciting as the release date announcement as well. But yeah, that's a game I'm really looking forward to. I will hopefully be able to report back on that game with more details in the coming weeks. So I will come back to that.
It's got some fun looking things though.
Yeah,
it's got some. So basically, Synapse is like this thing where you kind of invade the brain of someone else, and there's fun
a kernel played by David Hayter.
Madness based on
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Wrong kernel.
And
it's
good. it describes it as dual wielding, but you're shooting with one hand, and then you've got telekinetic powers with the other, basically. Also, seems to involve barrels, so double thumbs up from us. But it's got a really nice kind of monochromatic art style. Well, monochromatic and neon kind of played off against each other art style that looks really interesting. I really quite like what they're doing with that as well. So yeah, and gameplay looks good. Voice acting looks good. Dreams generally make really good VR products. So yeah, very much looking forward to that one. The big kind of surprise announcement was Arizona Sunshine 2.
Looks
that's a
amazing.
game it looked really good, but I don't know if you noticed, none of that was in-game footage again. That was all a CGI thing. So
yeah, they caught me off guard with that one.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Fred.
But that bit where
Everyone loves
because
Fred.
all the zombies are Dave?
Yeah.
Is that right? Fred.
Fred.
Sorry, all
Fred.
the zombies are Fred,
Yeah.
and the dog is Friend.
I see Fred's face
But
everywhere.
There was a kind of a montage, and again, I was upset to find it wasn't gameplay, but the montage of different ways of killing different zombies, and then one of them very quick was he just had a spatula in his hand and was just slapping it on their face to annoy them. That was very
he
funny.
just did the two hands slapping them around the face like two disembodied zombie arms that were slapping around the face. And then the funny joke one that they had at the end, which was him flapping the mouth of one of them. It looked quite good fun. It actually looked and reminded me of Dead Island 2, having just played through that. Like this very similar humor. The one thing that a few other people picked up on... Yeah, the one thing that a few other people picked up on that I wouldn't have known about, but the writer that's come on board for this that wasn't the writer of the original game is popular in VR circles. He wrote a game called Invisible Hours that was well received and a few other things.
I know that one.
So yeah, like apparently like that's good. There are people that are very pleased by that. I'm not as familiar with him. I bought Invisible Hours and then never played it. But as I said, that other people are pleased, so that makes me more keen. And I quite liked the original Arizona Sunshine, and this one looks like it's even nice and shinier. So hopefully that is good.
Hey, do you know what I need though?
Yep.
Do you know what I need? I need a generic VR inside shooter to keep me happy.
You say that,
That's what I need.
Sequel
this
to
comes with
Crossfire.
the possibly the most generic name for a video game ever in Crossfire Sierra Squad. Well, not just a general generic name, but like one that sounds very much army generic and kind of
gun shoot.
I don't know about you. I thought that looked graphically
face.
and gameplay relatedly very impressive. Like I'm really looking forward to that one. I was a bit surprised we didn't get a release date for that because it's a game we've known about, we've seen gameplay about. It's a shame we didn't get a bit more details on. But again, looks good, and I can see that pulling other people's interest to there. One of the games that was missing from the lineup that a lot of people thought we'd get a release date for was Firewall 0 Hour, is it? Or whatever it is. Firewall.
Well, it makes sense not to put that in the
lineup.
lineup because that would be two shooties put in one presentation of VR.
yeah.
And I can understand
That
seems
why.
might
a
be
bit
You can
nearly
save that.
indistinguishable from one another.
But you can say if that's coming down the line, then I mean, have they announced that one
Yeah,
already?
yeah.
They have announced that one already, haven't they?
Yes,
yeah,
they
okay.
have,
So
yeah.
it doesn't need to.
And
You don't need a grand reveal of it.
yeah, and then the other one I thought we'd see a bit more of was the latest Ghostbuster one, again by Dreams as well. Maybe they just didn't want to put two Dreams things in there. The one that seemed to get a bit more
Didn't pay
attention
enough
was
money.
the confirmation that Resident Evil 4 Remake the VR mode for that will be the full version of the game, not a stripped down version or anything. So people are pleased by that. But again, that was something that was
No date.
heavily predicted, and most people thought that would be the case just from Capcom's track record of doing that with Resident Evil 8 and 7. So
I mean, it was cool that they announced it. It was a shame they didn't give a release date for it. It is cool that it's going to be a free update as well for anyone that owns it.
Yeah.
But also, as soon as I saw that, I went, Tim's going to be insufferable when he hears about this.
I already knew it was coming.
It's the point where yeah, I know, but you were talking about it before. No, never going to happen, and then it happens. Like, oh, damn it. The one I thought was interesting, and you already spoke about it, was the shadow drop of Beat Saber, which I know PlayStation Store is very weird with times across whatever country you're on when things come out. But I got excited because they showed Beat Saber. They showed kind of slightly different looking gameplay to how it usually plays. It kind of almost looked like you were working more at a circular motion than kind of just the 4 axis. and then it was Queen music, and I went, oh,
Yeah.
is this going to be a Beat Saber sequel? And you're going to include more like general poppy and rock and all this kind of stuff rather than just all dance mixes. That's a great idea. That's what you need. Make it a bit more like Guitar Hero or one of those things. Make it more kind of universally friendly. And they just went, no, it's DLC pack for the Beat Saber. Oh, all right. No, that's...
But
Thanks,
but
guys.
the one good thing
I like
there
Queen.
is that it is a free update for anyone that owned it on PSVR 1, which is nice. Unfortunately,
good.
I
So I've
didn't,
got that
so
for
I
a
don't get
thing
that.
I don't have.
Yeah. So when you buy a headset, you've already got Beat Saber. So, hey.
Hey.
Should I just put
pleasant.
you down as my main account holder again so you can play all my games again?
Yeah,
Just
let's
to
do
get
that.
a lot of VR stuff out of it.
Yep.
Right, moving on. We had so we might skip
please.
over a couple of these, I think, but we had Perfect Worlds games as Tower of Fantasy, which is one of those anime type games. I didn't have much interest in that, unfortunately.
It
Though they did
looked
look
No,
pretty
okay.
I'd say the dialogue did make me slightly die inside.
that is most most anime games.
Yes. I
Just
like
saying.
it. Did the art style look nice and did pop though?
Art style nice.
Yeah, there was 2 games with the word tower in though, and I'm already confusing what their names are when I'm thinking of which one's which. That may just be me, but yeah.
I don't know if you guys were excited for Ultros, which I liked the look of. It is a Metroidvania. It's coming next year, but the thing was, I felt that the gameplay looked really slow.
I mean, to be honest, it was like that looks like, and in the agenda here is I think all you can really get out of the trailer, which was, oh, that looks like a colourful Metroidvania.
Yeah.
I was all right, well, that looks
Yeah.
perfectly inoffensive. I don't really think there's enough to comment on. It doesn't look groundbreaking
I think
to me.
Dead Cells may have ruined other Metroidvanias for me.
Yeah. Dead Cells. I know I always bang on about it.
Should we just talk about Dead Cells for the rest of the show?
Let's just talk
Well,
about Dead
the
Cells.
They
Metroid,
just have a board
version
game
of
that came
Dead
out
Cells.
for it, so there you go.
Oh,
I
all right. Let's just
change my
this
mind. We're
podcast
not
is gonna
talking
be
about it.
Dead
No,
Cells.
we're not talking about it now. Change my mind.
All right.
If there's more games
All
involved. But no, I
Right.
saw this, and it was kind of like, do you remember when all that hype was going into Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night?
Yes.
And then I went to, I think it was Rezzed, and got my hands on with it finally, and I went, oh God, this is so slow. I am not interested in this whatsoever. And it kind of looked like that to me. Well, who knows? It might be an amazing game, and I'll probably get hands on at some point. But yeah. Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, that is coming this winter.
Really weird name, can I just say?
I'm not a fan of Grand Blue, and again, very
She isn't either.
bad.
Yeah, you put this
The-
at this point in
the
the
dub,
list
the
and all
voice.
the other games that followed afterwards. But anyway, yeah.
Revenant Hill, similar.
Yeah.
Anyone
There's a lot
interested
of
about
people
Revenant
that
Hill?
are fans. There's a lot of people that are fans of the previous game that this developer made, and I can't remember
Mm-hmm.
what that's called, and I never played the previous game.
Cypress Hill.
But no.
Yeah.
House on
But
Haunted Hill.
apparently it's something that is quite popular with a lot of people
Ansel.
were really pleased to see what this
Ansel.
developer was working on next, basically. So, and I was like,
The
I've
Haunting
got
of Hill
cat in it.
not
House.
heard of them.
It's got cat in it.
Are you
got
just going to
cat in it,
keep
yes,
on
that's
naming
true.
things with
Game
the
of
word
the
hill in?
Yes, one of them was the one of the roads I grew up in. No one noticed that. Right, the other one was
Edge Hill.
Edge Hill.
That's Groove Armada song.
Oh, climbing up
That's
on Strawberry Hill.
good. That's
Oh.
nice.
Yeah. Towers of,
Primrose
if
Hill.
I get this right, Towers of Agaspa.
Ask Grabber.
Night in the
Agaspa?
Woods
Ask Grabber.
co-creator apparently is the person
No,
that's making
no.
Revenant
Is that-
Hill.
Oh, that's
Night
the
in the
one.
Woods.
Yes, sorry.
Yeah.
So, Night in the Woods, which, if you remember, there were 2 creators too, and one of them kind of got outed and unfortunately, kind of shamed out the game industry, but also ended up taking their own life, which is very sad. But this is the other
Oh.
creator who went along with it. Yeah, we reported on it. I don't know if you remember that, Tim.
Yeah. I didn't know that was that game. That
Yeah.
was all. Hadn't pieced that together.
That was the one. Yes. Anyway, Towers of Agaspa. I think that's right. A lot of
Agaspa.
people are comparing this to Breath of the Wild, but this is one of those ones that I spotted and went, "Oh, I like this world. I like this." It's not mind blowing in the way it looks, but it's a new world. There's these like sky whales that are flying around, and you're flying in between creatures and structures and things, and you're picking up loot and I saw that and I went, oh, a new game, a new setting, like something that looks different. I'm interested. I
Yeah.
like the look of this. It's actually
It looked like
grabbing
you
my
were
attention.
rebuilding the land
Yeah.
and actually building buildings, but also bringing life back to the
Yeah,
land in terms of fauna and
Well,
stuff like that as
Yeah.
well. So yeah,
well, I think it's like not only rebuilding the structures, but rebuilding the ecosystem. I
Yes,
think
yeah.
is how they describe
Okay.
it. So
Yeah, but I'm looking
that
forward
could
to
be
this one.
quite interesting.
Yeah, it looks really cool, and I like that setting. Anything that's got like flying gigantic creatures in the sky, that always interests me. Or blimps in modern times, that always gets me as well.
Blimps. A blimp's like they're like the mythical
Airships.
creatures in the world of Coleman. A blimp.
No, it's not that. You know, like
How do they get the writing on it? I don't understand.
do you remember when they did the Bruce Timm animated Batman series, the original Batman
Yes.
animated
Yes.
series, and then the 90s one? And in the sky, like all through Gotham, there's just blimps in the sky. And that
Yeah.
always fascinated me. Still does to this day. It's like, why is all these blimps? They never mentioned
So-
that there's just loads of blimps in the sky. Everyone in Gotham's got their own blimp.
So if we had to distract you from something, we just show you a picture of a blimp. Is that what you're saying?
No, you park like 40 or 50 blimps outside my house in the sky.
And you
That
say,
would
"Oh,
distract
look at all the
them.
blimps."
that would distract me.
Yeah.
To be fair, 40 or
That would
50
distract most
blimps
of my
would
neighbours.
distract most people.
They're
Yeah,
like, what? Did Oprah turn up and give us all a blimp?
blimps for
You get a blimp.
you.
You get a,
You get a blimp.
all get blimps.
Oh, get a blimp.
Yeah, something
If you
along
look
those
under
lines.
your seat,
Next
there is a
up-
blimp.
So next up, and I will admit,
Wow, that takes me back to the E3 you narrowly missed out on too.
Yeah.
so next up, and I will admit, this also did catch my interest, but only because
Oh,
Cat
yes.
Quest is a series that I've never picked up the games myself, but I've played them at different
No.
events, Cat Quest 1 and 2, and they're very kind of they're cute cats as knights and magicians and stuff. This one they've done a sort of spin-off, and it's called Cat Quest Pirates of the Caribbean, and it's all pirate themed. But the
Yep.
look of the new visuals and everything, a lot of improvements have gone into that, which actually look really cool. And I think that would be something I'd like to play on a handheld.
Okay. Yeah, I want to give some more details on this one because I received a press release, and it's my favorite type of press release. It's a press release full of really bad puns.
A press release.
Press release full of really bad puns, some of which come from the game themselves. My favorite one of which is the fact that you are fighting pirates. Okay?
Excellent.
Oh, nice.
Yes. See? I like
nice. Nice.
Can I, just as a quick aside.
Yeah.
I approve of that joke.
Yes.
So if you want to get Tim's interest, any kind of pun-filled PR press
Yep.
release, that's the one that will get him. My one, and I'll give you an example of this. There was a period where we got sent all these different press releases, and everything seemed to be the new Undertale, inspired by Undertale, the next Undertale. And I got so sick of it. And then one day, and I believe it was
Undertale 2 came out.
no, I believe it was Square Enix that sent it to me. It was advertising one of the Hitman games. Hitmen. There's multiple of them.
Hitman.
But the head,
Right.
I believe the subject line, and I
Hitman's
put
is.
this on Twitter at the time. I believe the subject line was "The Chuckle Brothers go on a murderous rampage." And I went, "You've got me. I have to read all of this."
There we go.
And it was a YouTube
to
video
you.
they put together where the Chuckle Brothers, who were both alive at the time, they were doing like a live action version of Hitman.
That went dark, didn't it? I
Yeah.
did wonder how he died.
Yeah. But they were doing a live action version where they had those two sat in a booth and then someone playing Agent 47 going around a scenario, and they were telling him what to do. And it's one of the best
Nice.
videos that I've ever seen any PR
Oh,
company
yes, I
ever
remember
do.
that. Yeah.
How did that? But that's amazing.
was good.
How did they come up with that
I
as an
don't
idea?
know. I can only assume someone in
So
PR.
do you know what this needs?
Being a genius.
seen the
That's how they
Chuckle
came up
Brothers.
with it.
What this gritty tactical assassination game needs is the Chuckle Brothers.
Yes.
I just assume someone in video games PR, like I don't know if they've got an agency where they just know of what celebrities are available, or it could just be someone in PR that was a fan of the Chuckle Brothers, which,
Yep.
judging by how long that show went,
tracks.
places them somewhere between early 20s to late 50s, because that show went on for a very long time.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. Cat Quest looks great. So
Yeah,
we
I like
had
the look of that.
Never coming next year.
I don't know about you. I think I bought Gris and never played it. It's got a really nice art style and never had a similar looking kind of animated, like kind of soft edged animation sort of thing is the best way I can think of describing it. But yeah, like I it's kind of attractive, and a lot of people really talk very highly of Gris as well. And yeah, so I'm intrigued, but this one's not coming till next year now, so we'll see.
Okay. Dan's trying to catch my attention by putting blimps behind him.
Every couple of minutes, I'm just putting a picture of a different blimp up.
Yeah. Well, this is why I've
What you
moved
need
to
is
Tim's
40
again,
to
so there's no
50
blimps,
blimps, Dan. Not just one.
40 to 50
one won't
blimps,
do it.
Dan.
40 to 50
40
blimps.
He's going to look up
50
some blimps now. He's going to AI. He's going to go on one of those AI generation text prompt image and just go 40 to 50 blimps in the outside
40
Coleman's
to
house.
50 blimps
I'll,
to distract Coleman.
Do that right now. Five Nights at...
He went vaguely a little under 40 to 50 blimps.
Yes. It's because I was going to burp. I was trying to stop myself.
There we go.
Wow,
there you go.
look at all them blimps. Yeah, that got my attention.
Ask and ye shall receive.
Right. Five Nights at Freddy's Help Wanted 2, which I'll quickly explain to you two, because I know you're not fans of Five Nights at Freddy's.
Right.
There is a very bad looking film coming up soon, by the way. But Five Nights at Freddy's,
comedy
it was a series by...
good for that, though.
Good. There was a series by, I believe his name's Scott Cawthorne, where he was making Christian games and his characters looked absolutely terrifying, and someone commented that they looked like bad Chuck E. Cheese characters. So he turned it into he made a new game that was about like a Chuck E. Cheese type establishment where the animatronics gone to life and kill people. It was fine, very simplistic, but it got a big popularity because of YouTubers playing jump scare games, looking for those jump scare games that they can react to badly, and everyone goes, ha ha ha, what a funny jump scare game for a YouTuber to be scared of, like Markiplier. And the other one was, I forget the guy's name, Game Theory. He would make videos on the lore of the story behind Five Nights at Freddy's, which isn't overly obvious when you play the game. It's all kind of in the background and revealed to you when you do secret things. So that ended up boosting the popularity of the game. It kept on going, making sequels to it, and then at some point, I believe Scott Cawthorne, I don't know if he sold it or he teamed up with another studio, but they were going to reboot Five Nights at Freddy's and call it Help Wanted, which came out on the PlayStation VR and also other VR devices, I think. But also, I think there's like a regular pancake screen game, as Tim calls it. But this one is meant to be a new version of the VR game for PSVR 2, and we're kind of carrying on that way. But yeah, Five Nights at Freddy's wasn't, a sequel to the reboot. I'm not into these games. I know these two aren't really into the game, so we'll kind of leave it at there. But they are popular to a certain subsection of the internet, even though people don't like the creator for political leanings and stuff. And there's
it was weird that they didn't put the PSVR 2 logo up when they were talking about this game or showing the trailer when they did with all the other VR games, though. That seemed odd. Maybe it's got a non-VR mode?
I think this was non-VR, but it will probably come to VR.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not 100% on it because those games are in first person.
Yes.
So it might just be that you're in first
so
person.
It makes
and
sense.
with the newer ones, with the older ones were like static and you move to different screens, and these ones you're more like moving in first person and it shakes the camera and stuff. So it probably looks like it's in VR, but this, I don't know if it's VR. I doubt it. Giant Squid, them behind many games that we like The Journey and Just Journey, not The Journey, not the band, and Abzu, the swimming one.
Abzu,
yeah. We like a lot of these games. They are, and that's the art guys behind it. They are working on a game called Stored of the Sea, which I'm incredibly interested on because I like those art styles in those games. I like an artsy fartsy game, as Kev likes to call it. But also hoverboard, game with hoverboard. Love games with hoverboards.
Hoverboard and sea monsters. Yeah. What more could you want?
We are
Weird
of Back to the
sand
Future
in
Part
that
2
game,
generation. We love
Weird
hoverboards.
sand.
Give us more hoverboards.
There's nothing wrong with the sand, Tim.
It was all
sand
weird and shifting
It works with
around
art style.
and dodgy looking.
That sand does that.
That's you. You're talking about you.
Jesus. No, but I'm very... I mean, I looked at it before they flashed up It's From Journey. I was like, that looks like a Journey-ass game. So I was like, oh, what a surprise.
I saw a few people say that the name
interested.
Sword of the Sea was a really great name. And I'm like, what? How is... No?
It's better than Spade of the Puddle.
I mean,
I'm
not saying there isn't worse names, but I'm not saying that's a particularly good one, no? I just thought it was a bit of an odd thing to pull from.
trowel of the paddling pool.
It
Can
looked fun,
can I predict
but-
why it's called Sword of the Sea, even though it's set in a desert?
Yes. Yep.
Because the
Well, the sea, the desert could used to have been
Desert.
a sea in a previous
Ooh,
Sea of the
like
land.
Dune, like dunes.
Yes.
No, I reckon because the hoverboard looks like a sword. I think I watched it on my phone,
Yes.
so I'm not 100%. But
Yeah.
the
No, it
sword,
did look
the
sword-like, you're
hoverboard
right.
looked like a sword, and I think you are seeking out the sea because you are in a desert. And why?
I mean,
wouldn't
that's a good thing to seek out.
And you got to step in weird ways, or the sandworms will get you.
Yep.
That's Dune.
I don't
That's
think.
Tremors.
I think you might be stretched. You might be just because it is set in a big old sandpit doesn't mean it is Dune.
There,
the game.
there is a
I'm
Dune
afraid.
game coming.
Yes.
I know there's
Multiple.
Is it Dune or is it June?
Dune.
Who
Where's
knows?
Dune?
Sand
Sand
dunes.
dunes.
I liked the
The
film
sand dunes.
Sand dunes.
Sand dunes.
If you're finding sand dunes and salty air,
in June.
Oh, nice, nice callback.
Oh.
Very good.
I was literally listening to that today. Right.
Oh, it's a good song.
Next one caught me completely off guard because my friends have been sharing back and forth the Starship Troopers game, which I'm not particularly
Yes.
enamored with, and
Can I-
this
that looks
looks
cool.
like it was.
That looks good.
I seriously thought this was the
Yeah.
co-op Starship Troopers thing. I was
Yeah.
like, how is that not that game?
Caught me off.
I
Because it's
don't
got
understand.
those
Absolutely
type
caught
of
me off
bug
guard.
aliens, and it's also got a similar type of humor in the presentation of the trailer.
It-
at least.
yeah,
I
it's
don't
the
know
tone
how
and
that
the humor and
translates to the
stuff.
rest.
And
yeah.
But it felt like they were doing the news bulletins and the propaganda bulletins and stuff. It was like,
Yeah.
do you want to know more? But it was less
Yeah.
comedic than the actual comedy version. Sorry, it was more comedic than the movie version. So I went, oh, they're kind of hamming it up for this. Oh, it's Helldivers 2. Okay, I'm in. I love Helldivers.
Yeah,
I
that
don't
looked
remember
looked like good
Helldivers.
dumb fun.
When did that come out? Because I heard a lot of people predicting that Helldivers 2 was going to come to this presentation. And I'm like, I remember the name. I don't remember anything about the game.
I want to say 2015,
Helldivers was
2016.
Yeah, 2015.
2015.
Okay.
Yeah, that's when I was living in
That's-
that.
That was like kind of an isometric dual stick shootery thing,
Yes,
wasn't
and
it?
you could play it
Yeah.
4-player co-op between PlayStation 4 and Vita, which I really liked.
Oh,
Right.
the Vita.
Yes.
We love the Vita.
Okay. It
Wouldn't
was
you like a
popular
new
on the
Vita?
Vita.
Let's disappoint you in a moment.
Not as much as I want to take a hacksaw to a DualSense 5, chop it in half, and stick a
We'll
bloody
get there.
screen in
We'll
between
get
the two
there.
We'll
halves.
We'll
there.
get there.
We'll get
so,
there.
Helldivers 2. Helldivers
Yep.
2 after
Right.
8 years of waiting, that's been announced.
Yep.
Ghost
Look at you doing
Runner 2.
maths.
Ghost Runner 2 got announced.
I swear that
for,
just came out.
Coming out this year. Yeah, exactly. I know it just come to console,
Yeah,
but I feel like the PC version only came out a year ago or two.
Yeah.
It feels
I think-
very quick.
Did they remaster it or something? I don't know.
I don't
Did-
know, but that
did-
seems very quick.
I don't know.
Did the first
No, it
Ghost
did come out. Not
Did the
that
first
long.
Ghost Runner have the whole motorbiking down the side of a building thing that they showed off in this trailer, or was that a new mechanic?
2020?
No, it was all, if I remember rightly from the little bit I
Yeah.
played, but it was
I
bloody
remember
hard
seeing
to play. It's
Yes, it seemed
first
hard.
person hack and slash, but it was more of it was more like a puzzle game than it was a hack and slash game because you had to kind of imagine Mirror's Edge if you had a samurai sword and you had to
Right.
kind of memorize patterns to go, right, you run here, you duck, you slide, you slice, you jump in the air, you jump on another thing, you run, you duck,
Yeah.
you slide. And it was kind of like that. And if you made a mistake, you went back to the start. And that's kind of what I remember of playing of it.
Yeah, it's one of those games that like other people can make look really good, but I probably wouldn't, and I'd
Yes.
probably end up disliking it, so I never bought it. That's
Exactly. I
my
think my problem as
situation
well,
with
when
that
it
so far.
came to PC, the controller support was awful, and the best way to play it was was mouse and keyboard. But it's since been fixed, and it's much better on
Right.
consoles and stuff. So it's on
'Cause
consoles and stuff.
I never played Ghost Runner, but I always kind of got like it felt like it was trying to be a 3D Katana Zero or something.
Oh yeah, good
It was
shout.
kind
yeah.
of
yeah.
Katana Zero is a great,
I mean, it looks great.
great game.
I just found it really hard, like that level of hard that I couldn't get into it. And I don't know, maybe I need to play it again now it's been fixed. But at the time of release, I struggled with it. Phantom Blade Zero, which it's a hack and slash RPG, but it looks very much like it's trying to be a Souls-like.
Oof.
Oh, I'm gonna wait to see what Dan says because we might have very differing opinions by the noises you were making there, Dan.
I kind of saw this and I was like, it's kind of all right.
I thought the first initial screenshot of seeing it, I wasn't impressed. It seemed a little bit, not entirely last gen, but not like cutting edge for this generation, basically. But when you got in a little bit further into that trailer and they started showing the sword play, I have never seen more intricately well-designed, accurate sword play, and I thought it looked amazing. Like, I don't think I was more excited about any of the new games that they showed off in any of this, to the point where I actually went away and got a few more details on it, so I can go through that.
All right, fair enough.
Right, okay.
So
good luck in actually trying to recreate those moves.
Oh, yeah. Again, it may be exactly with...
It's just going to be...
Yeah.
I'm going to be swinging around a stick. It's a bit like, do you remember when you were 8 and you used to pretend you were like having a super cool sword fight with someone, you're just waving a stick around?
Yeah.
I'm going to look like that. And as soon as an enemy actually turns up, I'm just going to get my face stained.
Well, it might be exactly like
right.
I was talking about with Ghost Runner 2, where it might be better in other people's hands than it is in mine. I also wonder if some of those set pieces will have like button prompts on screen that they weren't really showing off, possibly, because it looked like that might be the case. I don't hate that as much as other people do, so I won't mind that as much. But yeah, just to give a rundown, and I'll give credit to the person that has actually pulled it. I don't know where they pulled these details from, so I'll give credit to the person. This is just from Twitter.
Internet.
But from TCMF2 or TCMF Games, someone I've followed for a while and seems to be generally okay with the stuff that he reports, so I'll happily report that and give him a shout. But it's an action RPG. You play as Soul, an assassin serving a powerful organization known as the Order. You are framed for the murder of the Order's patriarch, and you are injured and then have 66 days to seek out the mastermind who framed you, apparently. So, yeah.
How will you spend your 66 days?
I mean, on the
Wanking
beach.
myself into oblivion.
Okay. Maybe not with your sword arm, though, Dan, eh?
Hey, look, it's a heavy sword. You've got to get the strength up, mate.
I wouldn't say I have a question, but I have an observation.
Right.
Yes.
So they're called the Order.
Yes.
And you have 66
days. And you've got 66 days. Is this
and
actually a secret
levels.
sequel or prequel to the Order 1866 is what you're going to ask, yeah?
No. I was going to suggest that there was a Star Wars influence with the Order 66.
Order 66. I mean, 6 is my lucky number, so, this is good.
But yeah, I think what put me off, actually, I think just looking back at the trailers, what put me off is that everyone wears a mask.
I like
that seemed a bit contrived, but
it was rubbish.
What really got me is when he kind of ran up the kind of pagoda-y wooden structure thing in front of him, ran up that, and then ran across and then jumped down.
Call it building.
That looked really cool. Like, I don't exactly know how they're going to work, but it's definitely one that I hadn't heard of before and is now like definitely high up on my radar of things that I'll be looking out for in the future, basically.
That's fair. My thing was it looked kind of Sekiro-ish. And again, it's other games that are influencing my head, but when I saw it, it seemed slower than I expected. But I might need to just rewatch it again and kind of, I don't know, empty my brain, get hammered, try it again, go, this is the best game in the world.
As I said, I really quite like the look.
Interesting,
of it, so,
interesting tactic.
Wow, look at them blimps.
Yep.
Oh, blimps.
That's how I reset my palate when it comes to video game trailers. I just get hammered and watch them again.
Stare at some blimps.
Yeah. Where were we? Phantom Blade Zero. New look. Right, Plucky Squire, which we've spoken about before. It's really cool. It's got like a 2D.
I forgot this game existed, though. No?
Oh, I did, but I'm glad that they reminded me. But yeah, it's a top-down kind of Zelda type game. But then you go out of the book and you're into the real world, and you're interacting with objects around the room and stuff. It looks very cool. You should check it out if you haven't seen it.
It does look fun.
We've spoken about Foamstars, which we'll ignore because we're not in Ibiza in the 90s and we're not having a foam party.
Big foam
Talos
party.
Principle 2.
It's your boy.
Now, if I remember rightly, didn't the Talos Principle 2, they got announced quite a fair while ago and it just all went silent because I think they were changing engines or something?
If you told me this game came out 5 years ago, I would have believed you.
Exactly. But it's coming out this year, Tim. And you should believe me.
Okay.
Yeah?
Not sure I should care,
Okay.
but okay.
It looks like it's a fun kind of misty game with kind of puzzle solving madness.
I'm not denying I might like it.
It looks fun.
I might be more interested if it does VR.
I think
we'll
you'd
see.
like it. Oh, God.
If you're like Dan and you've been wondering just what happened to Jade Raymond, we found out.
What happened to Jade Raymond?
Well, she's revealed her new game, which actually this opened the start of the show. This was Fair Games, but the S is a $sign. And it's all about taking down the patriarchy and stealing the money from the rich.
Those
and all that
pesky
kind of stuff.
patriarchs.
Which guarantee, when I was watching it, I went, okay, when are you saying Watch Dogs? When are you saying Watch Dogs? When are you saying Watch Dogs?
Definitely.
Okay, something new. Okay. However, I don't know the full scope of this game. I know there's like a whole 10-player type thing, but when I watched it, I was like, oh, it's another multiplayer team versus team thing. And
yeah,
I'm just not
it looked like P
into
versus
We've
P.
got too many of those at the moment.
3-player heists.
Yeah.
Okay.
And a lot of these seem to come through Ubisoft that I go, I just don't care.
Yeah.
And it's probably why Ubisoft are cutting down on these games lately and putting all their stock into Assassin's Creed, but we'll see.
Well, but when they've got the assets there, they can quickly repurpose from Rainbow Six Siege. Well, why not?
Exactly. But what did you think, Dan? Because I know you've actually asked about Jane Raymond's before, because she went off to Google, and then Google shut down her studio, and she's been doing other stuff since then.
I mean, she's clearly got axe to grind. Want to take down the old patriarchy, hasn't she? After getting the boot from I don't know. I mean, I just thought this looked dreadfully and woefully generic.
Yeah,
very Watch Dogs.
Yeah, just a bit not necessarily derivative, but just like soulless almost. Even though like a bit try hard, I think was the main problem for me. That what put me off. It looked like it was trying really hard to be cool and really not sticking the landing as a result, kind of thing, because they were trying way too hard. That might be.
I thought it was a very exciting trailer. I'll wait until there's a gameplay trailer, because I don't know enough about what this game is about. But at the same time,
Coleman?
I thought this was a completely different game while I was watching it. And again, maybe I wanted to drink a bottle of Jack Daniels and watch this trailer again and reset my palate, and that's how we do it.
This seems to be your solution to many problems. Could I interest her in a picture of a blimp? It's probably more socially acceptable.
Have you seen those blimps? Got a bunch
Oh,
of
that's
those
driving,
blimps.
isn't it? Back in the room.
Okay, we got another look at Street Fighter 6's story mode, which we'll gloss over just because we have covered a lot of Street Fighter 6 on this show of late. And it's coming so soon.
I'm really looking forward to Street Fighter, and that trailer was pretty bland and boring. No, like couldn't have.
I liked
been
it.
It's quite cool seeing the characters, but man, you can just tell all the main characters from Street Fighter are just taking pity on the poor low polygon player model. That's all right, man. I know you've got half the amount of polygons as me, but it's okay.
Have you
We love you, really.
seen? I don't know if you guys will know this character. When the demo came out and you could play the character and make your own character and stuff, someone made Ice Spice and started just absolutely wrecking the entire internet as Ice Spice went. That's quite funny. I like this because she gets a lot of hate undeservedly.
Who is Ice Spice?
She's a musician, very famous online. People like her bum.
Okay,
She's the mystery
Really
sixth Spice
fit
Girl.
mother.
Mystery sixth Spice
I'll
Girl.
send you some pictures. Don't tell your missus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bungie, they've announced. So you may not know this, but
Never heard of him.
before we had a Destiny, before we had a Halo, we had a game called Marathon, and there is now.
Then they changed it to Snickers.
Not many people are going to get that, Tim.
Nope.
Wow, showing your age, Tim.
Yep.
In an appalling fashion.
Do you know what? I only know that joke because old people tell me that joke. Marathons didn't exist when I was a child.
Okay, now I'm
Wow.
even older. Thanks.
Sorry, buddy.
Wow, I can remember the change. I can remember when they used to be in the much better like kind of paper wrapping than the plastic stuff.
Yep,
Oh,
yep.
They tasted better
Love
those
a
days
paper.
as well.
Mate, I remember
don't think
Snickers
they
were
did, but-
25p.
Oh, give over. Confusingly, Mars and Snickers, different way round in the States. But anyway, that's a rant for another day.
Anyway, yes. So Bungie, they made Marathon, and I believe that was a Mac game initially.
It was originally.
Yeah, because they used to develop. I mean, Halo was going to be a Mac game. If you want to get in the
It certainly
nitty-gritty
was.
things.
Well remembered.
So
How
they've
did
announced
Xbox
that they're going to
not buy Marathon? How did they forget to do that?
I don't think they
Because it
cared
happened
because it was a Mac game.
Yeah,
and they're Microsoft.
Yeah, it happened.
Yeah.
Happened before they were really bothered.
So they're going
about
to make a new title in the Marathon series. I don't know if this is going to be like a reboot of Marathon or if it's going to be existing in the lore of the original games. If you were smart, I would say do a reboot because that audience.
I don't think it is going to be.
No,
I think
it's
it's
not?
existing. It's existing in the same universe, as far as I can make out.
Yeah.
Now they describe it as PvP first.
Yes.
Yes.
And they also describe it as an extraction shooter, which was like, oh, that's the point where I lose interest. Because I was ashamed.
We already
the
have
neon
Rainbow
trailer
Six
looked really
Extraction, which is super.
cool. Yes.
Yeah, but we have Rainbow Six Extraction, which everyone loves and is super jazzed about, and we all play it all the time to rescue people from the Rice Krispie blocks.
And the Division 2.
So yeah, you are a runner, quote unquote, in a sci-fi PvP extraction shooter. Compete for survival, riches, and renown in a world of evolving, persistent zones. Blah blah blah. Gonna tell you now, if this isn't gonna be free to play, quote unquote, then I will eat my own underpants.
I don't know, but it was surprising.
It's gonna be free to play.
It was a very nice and pretty trailer. Absolutely no gameplay whatsoever. I might watch the trailer a couple more times because it looked really nice. I got
caterpillars.
I got excited because I went, "Oh, it's a Bungie game that isn't Destiny. Let's see what Bungie are up to."
Shut your mouth.
And they're like, we're just going to make
I want to see what they can do after being bought by PlayStation. And apparently, what they can do is make a game that is also available on the Xbox.
Games.
Yes. I think that was the problem with a lot of the games in the presentation. I don't know if you saw, but Xbox literally put out quite a funny tweet afterwards that was just all of the games that are coming out on Xbox and said, also available or coming soon to Xbox. And it's like, yeah, okay, yeah.
The only way they could have got any more kind of, hey, look at us, is to put out a tweet going, cheers for showing all our trailers off PlayStation.
Good one for paying to do that.
Or what they could have, if they really wanted to troll them, what they could have done is just topped and tailed the PlayStation showcase with the Xbox logo going whoop.
Just knock off Spider-Man and then
Dragon's Dogma 2.
Knock off Spider-Man and Gordon Ramsay.
Lot of Capcom on this one. Dragon's Dogma 2. I never played Dragon's Dogma despite owning like 3 copies of this game on different platforms.
I think I'm the same.
Because they keep giving it away. But I hear it's really, really good. When it came out, a lot of people really liked it. When it came out as a remaster, a lot of people really liked it. I still have yet to play it. This trailer looks amazing. I wish I played it.
The consensus of opinion is that, and the way I've heard it, the same opinion expressed in a few different ways, but this is the most concise way I've heard of saying it, is that Dragon's Dogma is a 10 out of 10 game disguised as a 6 out of 10 game.
It looks like a AA and it's a AAA kind of thing.
Yeah.
I've heard that before.
But yeah, I think a lot of people were pleased by this. I wasn't necessarily one of them because, as you say, despite owning it, I think possibly more than once, I still haven't ever played any amount of it. I think I played a very small portion of it, but not enough to even remember. But yeah.
This is where we call on the power of the listeners, or the viewers.
Yes.
If you have played Dragon's Dogma and you know about this game, is this one that we need to play the first game to enjoy the story of the second one, or can we just jump straight into Dragon's Dogma 2? Because I would quite like to play this game, but I need to know if I have to play the first one.
I think I saw someone already say that you don't need to have played the first one to play the second one.
Excellent. We're all playing Dragon's Dogma 2.
There we go.
This looks great. Right, moving on.
Scot-free.
Final Fantasy 16, which, all right, fair play, guys. It looks amazing, but we know about it. It's 22nd of June. Yep. It's out very, very soon. Looks excellent. Same with Alan Wake 2. We know that was announced. That's coming out.
I'm very excited about this.
I'm quite excited for Alan Wake 2.
If you haven't done, you've got enough time to play the remastered version on PS4 or PC. It plays very well, and it's a much better way than playing it than the original version on the Xbox 360.
Should I play the American Nightmare version, the American Nightmare thing that I downloaded on my Xbox, or should I not bother with that?
I would say, have you played the remaster?
No, I've played the original game to completion back in the day, but I haven't played it for a while.
Yes. I would say instead of doing American Nightmare, because it wasn't that great, I think people were just excited because it was a continuation, but you can, if you can find the remaster, because it always goes on sale super cheap. I think I got it for like £9 on PlayStation, and then I got it for about £5 on PC.
You can get it for a tenner at the moment on Xbox.
Yeah, it's worth playing that version, especially if you liked the original. The only thing I
Might just replay Quantum Break.
This was the
to be
same.
honest, but
Ooh.
Or maybe I'll just
Okay.
rewatch
Why
the
do you
bits
hate
in
yourself,
between.
Tim?
Why do you hate yourself, Tim?
Why do you hate yourself, Tim? Why?
The only comment I have about Alan Wake 2, because they brought in the kind of I don't think they're FBI, but the new kind of agent characters, and one of them,
Yes,
I forget his name, is the guy who's the original face model for
Sam Lake.
Max Payne. The Sam Lake,
Sam
thank
Lake.
you very much. Who's the guy behind Remedy?
Yeah.
Which makes sense, but the only kind of complaint I had this with the reveal trailer is, why does Alan Wake look like flipping what's his name, the
John Wick.
Keanu Reeves character? John Wick. Thank you very much. Black suit, tie, hair, beard, everything. He just couldn't afford John Wick, Keanu Reeves, so he just made John Wick. Budget John Wick.
But that's the thing. He definitely didn't look entirely like Alan Wake. I don't know if there's a story thing behind that in some reason or another, but he definitely didn't remind me of Alan Wake's face enough.
But I like the idea that you're playing as a different character in Alan Wake rather than just playing as Alan Wake again.
It seems like Alan Wake and one
kind of
FBI character, so two playable characters from what I heard.
Yeah, it starts off with this new character by the looks of it, but it's got that kind of Twin Peaks vibe to it, which do that in any game, and I love it. Assassin's Creed Mirage, that's coming out on October the 2nd. Sorry, October the 12th. Looks like Assassin's Creed.
Assassin's Creed. Yep.
It's supposed to be a stripped down version and returning to the Middle East, though. So I think that's kind of returning to its roots in some ways. That actually interests me more than anything else they could have done with it, probably.
They definitely took an existing character and tried really hard to turn him into Altair.
Yes.
That's what I got. I genuinely thought for a moment this is a remaster of Assassin's Creed, the original.
That would have been a good idea as well.
Frankly, it could be. I mean, I think they spent all their money on hiring Shoria Agdashalu to do the voice work.
I'm glad you remembered that name.
We've got no more money, so let's just reskin the first Assassin's Creed game. We'll be done. Nice, good, lovely.
I particularly find it interesting when. So if recent Ubisoft news is to be believed, like there's been a lot of redundancies and different departments getting shut down and stuff, and then they are pulling back on a lot of their properties because they're putting all their money into Assassin's Creed. I'm assuming they mean the next game, because this one I went, I just don't care. I just don't care. You need a reboot or something, guys. Got to get people excited again. Put Han Solo in and kill him off in the first one.
It will be good to actually for them to get a game out this year, because they haven't done that very much. I think Mario and Rabbids they had out earlier this year. Was that last year? But yeah, they didn't get many games out last year or this year, basically. So yeah, they might be in trouble.
I think that was last year. Yeah, you're right. Okay, I'm going to move slightly because I want to leave this one till second to last. But Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater remake. Which
oh my God,
so this is one of those ones that people absolutely overhyped before it happened. Yes. Tim was talking about a lot of people on the internet, they went kind of mad and they went, hey, there's going to be a remake of Metal Gear Solid 4 because that's the one. All the other games are available on different platforms, PC, you can play it on Xbox 360, you can play it on the old things, you can play it on the new things. The only one that you can't is Metal Gear Solid 4 because it was a PlayStation 3 exclusive, and PlayStation 3 is very hard to emulate. And if it is on PlayStation subscription, whatever you call it, that will be a cloud play thing. So it makes total sense to do that. Unfortunately, they meant Snake Eater. However, I love Snake Eater. It's probably my favorite game.
It's the only one I've never played any amount of whatsoever, basically. And
it's really good.
Is it?
I mean, it's very, very different to every other
That's why I love
Metal Gear Solid game, but I like it. Okay. I really like it.
It has its quirks. It has its annoyances. It's definitely, when you look at Kojima doing Death Stranding and going, I need to add all these mechanics into this game to make it more realistic, and people look at them and go, that's insane. Why would you do that? Why do I need to hold these buttons down when I'm climbing down a mountain so I don't fall over?
Yeah.
You know, it's that kind of level of pedantic nature added to your mechanics. And they do that with, they went, right, what if Metal Gear, but Snake needs to eat? and
Well, at least I mean,
In the
I'm
jungle.
glad they vetoed him for having to control Snake as he crimps out a length whilst not alerting the enemies after having a belly full of roaches in the jungle.
that happens. No, that happens. You can have upset stomach, and it causes the enemies to know where you are. But then you could sneeze in the previous ones, and the same thing would happen. But
Oh my God, liquid
no,
snake!
it would do things like you would get shot, and if you got shot bad enough,
Liquid.
you would get a bullet wound, and therefore, if you didn't patch up the bullet wound when you ate a ration,
You got
to
septic.
no, well, I don't know if you could get all from it, but if you took a ration to get your health bar up, it wouldn't get past a certain point because you had a bullet wound. So you had to extract the
Nice.
bullet and get all that kind of stuff. It's weird because
It was cool.
it's funny, and you could create a time paradox, and there's always cool stuff about it, but there are such weirdly specific things that they added in to go. It was kind of like San Andreas. San Andreas is a great game, but they went, you need to eat and lose weight and go to the gym and stuff like that. That just,
Not if you want to be a chunky bike riding boy like me.
Yeah.
From playing it, though, do you have any idea why they're calling it Delta and not just like a remake? Or is that just to be a bit edgy or different or whatever? I don't know.
well, I've got two different theories. One is that they're going to re-release Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, and 3 as they are, like the HD versions that were already re-released on other consoles. Which I think they took them off the store, and now they're just putting them back on the store, and that was the announcement. So I don't know if it's just to separate it from Metal Gear Solid 3 because it's going to be relisted back on the store, or if it's just to go, we need to separate.
It's well different.
We need to do something different, like say remake, remaster, final chapter. All those things that director's cut, all those things they like to do. However, it's Konami. Who knows? They don't even make the games anymore. They get other people.
Also,
to do them.
timeline-wise, is this a prequel to the original
Yes.
Metal Gear?
This is
So would it make
Snake
sense for them to remake Snake Eater and then remake Metal Gear 1 in some ways?
Yes, but they already remade Metal Gear 1. It was called Twin Snakes, and it was available for the GameCube.
I mean, GameCube, though, so about time we got another remake,
We've just
no?
blown Tim's mind. No, where this goes in the story is, if you remember, Big Boss who was in the original Metal Gear game, not Metal Gear Solid, the
Metal Gear.
Liquid and Solid Snake. Sorry, spoilers for a game from 1997.
Damn you, Coleman.
Liquid and Metal. So Liquid and Solid Snake were clones of Big Boss, a character from the first game. And this is like the story of Big Boss and how he got his title of Big Boss.
His origin story.
Right.
And it's really good.
So canonically,
But that's why he looks like Snake,
canonically,
because it's a clone.
Yes.
So canonically it goes Metal Gear Solid 3, Metal Gear Solid 5.
Yeah?
Yes. Oh, no. Wait. Yes. No?
It does.
Where does
It goes
Peace Walker
3.
go? Is Peace Walker before or after 5? Dan, this is important. We have to know that. We're
I know,
we're
I'm
over
on
on
it,
time,
I'm on
but
it,
we
I'm
have
on
to
it.
know this. The internet will lynch us if we get this wrong.
All right, Metal Gear Solid, canonical order. Okay, it goes.
Checking.
And where does Metal Gear Acid come into the equation? And why didn't we get a PSVR re-release of that?
Right.
Like I wanted.
All right, earliest one chronologically is Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. Then it goes Metal Gear Solid Portable Ops. Then it goes Peace Walker. Then it goes Solid 5 Ground Zeroes. Then Phantom Pain. Then Metal Gear. Then Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake.
Metal Gear 2 Solid
Then
Snake.
it goes Metal Gear Solid.
Metal Gear Solid.
Then it goes Metal Gear Solid 2. Then it goes Metal Gear Solid 4.
Metal Gear Solid 4.
Then it goes Metal Gear Rising, Revenge and
Vengeance.
And they don't even mention Acid because apparently everyone's forget Acid existed. But hey.
Did Acid happen in an alternate timeline or something?
I don't know.
Yes.
I can feel the internet lynching happening as I speak.
Where does the zombie game come in? Random bit of trivia. Do you remember when PlayStation coined the term transferring?
Oh, God.
Yes.
The idea of transferring. Yes, which is something so commonplace in video games now, but it was the idea of you could play a game on the PlayStation 4 and it would transfer the save data to the PlayStation Vita. And they called it transferring. And who came up with that name?
Of course they did.
Hideo Kojima.
Yeah.
What a surprise.
Rising Revengeance.
Yeah.
All right.
Revenge
Okay.
in hand.
New Metal
Revenge
Gear
in
Solid.
hand.
I'm not as excited as
Yeah.
others are just because I have played the holy hell out of Snake Eater multiple times. I'm a little bit excited.
Okay.
Right.
I might play it.
We got the announcement of 2 different pieces of hardware. One is, we'll talk about the headphones. You got earbuds that, I'm really glad for this, and I wish they did it sooner. Earbuds that you can use on the PlayStation 5 that could also be used with other devices. So you can sync with them with your phone if you want and connect them between your phone and the PlayStation 5. Great. Love using earbuds. Always got annoyed when I got Bluetooth earbuds that they wouldn't connect to the PlayStation 4 or 5. Great that they've done that. However, they've made them look so distinctive, and I bet they're so expensive that if you wear them out in public, much like when the iPod first came out, you are now a target for people to mug you.
Yes.
So good luck with that.
I'm hoping they're a nice upgrade to the ones for the PSVR 2, so that might be why I picked them up, basically. But yeah.
Okay, that's fair enough. I mean, if you want to keep them at home, then I think it's a good shout. So the other one, I think we're all going to have differing opinions on this, but this is they haven't given it the proper name, just the code name, but this is the PlayStation's dedicated game streaming device. Now, before you guys get into it, I will say,
right,
with the PlayStation Vita, if you remember, you could remote play your PlayStation 4 to your Vita, and 5, I think, if you've got the right thing. But the way it does it is it's a connection from the console to the handheld itself. What this is Wi-Fi connection. And I have tried this through multiple things. I've tried this through the Vita, through phone, through tablet, through Steam Deck, all these kind of things. Wi-Fi connection to other handhelds does not seem to work well.
Okay.
With me.
So that might be a you thing.
But I think
it
might be a me thing.
It
might be a me thing.
I can't quite understand what the point of this device is.
I think so. I've got 2 reasons why this could be a desirable type thing, and one is okay. The design is hideous. It's gaudy. However, it's
ugly as hell. But it matches the PS5.
I mean, seriously, put it this way,
because they're both ugly as hell.
I mean, if this came out on April the 1st, I would have gone, funny joke. It's like literally someone has sawn a DualSense 5 in half and superglued it to the side of a Kindle Fire tablet. Is exactly what it looks like. It's an answer to a question that nobody had in the first place.
No, if it works well, it's actually something that I'd quite like, and that's only because I find the DualSense very comfortable to use. And when you get a tablet, or you get, I've got multiple devices. I've got, Steam Deck that I use to control the PlayStation 5 now. Before that, I was using the Razer Kishi version, and then the Razer Kishi version 2, using a mobile phone to do it. And the problem I have with those is you don't really get like the support to put your hands underneath it. You're gripping onto a block, and it kind of creates something. If you're from the 80s, Nintendo thumb. But in your fingers, in your knuckles. Yeah. It's kind of like you're getting arthritis from playing the game too much. And I had the same problem with the Switch. I get the same problem with the Steam Deck. This is a proper, wrap your hand around controller, like a DualSense. And I think that's a very handy thing to have. Looks hideous as all hell. But I think function over factor could be a thing here.
But see, a lot of people are saying that they can't see the point of it when you can get a backbone. I think is that the thing, the Backbone 1 or whatever it is,
exactly the same problem that I just mentioned.
Yeah,
the Backbone has the same problem as the Kishi. It's a block.
Yeah, and as you say, I can see the use case for why this is going to be superior to that. The one thing I can't see is my interest on this is entirely dependent on price point. If it's a reasonable price, I can see me picking up, but I'm only ever going to get it for playing on the couch and second screening when I'm watching football and wanting to play a PlayStation game, basically. And I can see it having use cases and examples where I do want to do that. So I can see it having some value to me, but not more than £100 or so worth of value. And I can see it being a lot more expensive than that, basically. I can see it being very useful for people that travel a lot and want to therefore play it on a thing. But then you're in a hotel with rubbish Wi-Fi.
No.
If you're going
Tim,
to
you can't do that. It has to be local.
It has to be local.
You can't
only,
connect
no?
over the internet.
Yeah,
have to be on the same network
So-
as your PS5.
Right. Okay.
The way my Steam Deck works is as long as I'm connected to my home network, you can play the PlayStation 5. And it's the same system as this. If I do it on my mobile phone, I can do it on 5G, I can do it in a hotel, Wi-Fi, whatever. But this is specifically for at home. Those times you can't play the PlayStation when you want to. Say your Dan's wife is watching Come Dine With Me, and he wants to play a bit of Destiny on the PlayStation 5. He would whip out his disgustingly ugly Fire HD with 2 DualSense controllers wrapped around it that Coleman actually thinks looks quite appealing, and no one else does.
You're an idiot.
Yeah. Again, it's the form factor. The form factor is what is appealing to me. But exactly like Tim says, I think max £150. I go, yeah, I'd be quite interested in that.
Yeah.
This is more like
Really? As much as 150 quid?
Yeah, but because it's PlayStation, I could see them go, yeah, this is 350, 300, 400, somewhere around that price range. But yeah, the other thing I realized why they're doing this is about, I think 4 days ago from when we're recording, PlayStation made some suggestion they're going to focus really big on cloud gaming in the future. And I think this is going to be something used for that. As well,
so it's almost like that's the whole reason they blocked the Microsoft takeover.
Maybe, but again, we know PlayStation publicly. We don't know the other companies that have also been going. There is a lot of stuff on the Microsoft stuff that we haven't covered, and we'll get to that probably another week because we've already way over this week. But there's a lot of stuff.
We are very much way over.
Yes. Apologies about that, Dan. All right, we're moving it straight on to the last thing, and it is Spider-Man 2. We knew Spider-Man 2 was coming. We knew that it was going to have Venom, symbiote suit. I made, listen to the episode. I said it, and I was poo-pooed. After Miles Morales came out, I said, we would never poo-poo Spider-Man game. You play the 2, and boy, was I right. You play both Spider-Men. You get Spider-Man, Miles Morales in the same game. You control both of them. But the difference here is Peter Parker is now has the symbiote. Your big bad guy seemingly seems to be Craven, which they hinted to in the last game as well, even though you just got a voiceover. Yeah. And we got I felt like we were dining out very well on Spider-Man this one, because they went, hey, here's Craven. I went, okay, that can't be it. And then they go to the Spider-Man gameplay and reveal the symbiote suit. It was like, okay, I feel good. And they went, okay, here's some Miles Morales. Here's some more Spider-Man symbiote suit. Here's like them chasing after Dr. Connors, the lizard. And I'm really enjoying this. And someone pointed out on Twitter straight after the show, Spider-Man fans have been eating good for about 7 years and just showing off all the Spider-Man films and the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse and the games and stuff and throwing that all into one. I went, yeah, this is probably the best we've ever had it as Spider-Man fans.
Yeah. But then they didn't, I don't think they'd announced Craven before this trailer, no, as far as I'm aware. We know Venom was going to be part of the game, but...
Craven was the voiceover in the first trailer. The one going on
okay, I didn't realise that.
Ultimate prey and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, okay. But then they do have the Craven movie coming out soon as well, no, I think. So that might play into it. That might ruin the run of good Spider-Man things, who knows?
Guys, BRB UK cinema trip. See Craven.
Craven. I mean,
I'll make it happen.
Might have a Punisher appearance. You never know.
Craven,
I believe Punisher's first. But I believe Punisher was first appeared in a Craven storyline in a Spider-Man, basically. So yeah, Amazing Fantasy that had Spider-Man in it, and I think it was a Craven storyline.
Going on the tangent, Tim.
There you go. But but anyway. Apparently also Peter can, and I don't know if it's both Spider-Men, but apparently Peter can parry now, basically. And some attacks can only be parried. That's one of the other details.
That's cool.
Peter can parry. Peter Parker can parry.
Peter Parker can parry.
What I really liked about this, and it's something that's been missing since the Spider-Man 3, the movie, came out, the old one.
Dancing.
With, what's his face? Not that, it's that this is a Spider-Man symbiote suit that looks like the comic book symbiote suit. You know, it's got the same design, the glossiness, all that kind of stuff. He's using tendrils, he's using black webs. All
getting angry.
Absolutely love that. More of that. Right. That was a very lengthy show on the PlayStation Showcase 2023. I really enjoyed
They
it.
can
I know
fly
these guys
too,
enjoyed
but yeah.
some parts of it. Tim wants an ugly handheld for £100, but it's going to be 400
Idiot.
or something. Yeah, all that stuff. I really enjoyed this showcase, and I'm going to go back and watch a few of the trailers again. I think
I thought it was good.
Really
I thought
looking
it
forward to
stopped
Spider-Man.
just short of being great. I thought Spider-Man should have opened, and if they had one other thing as a big finish, they probably would have got away with it. But the slight lack of first-party things did invite the criticism that, you know, they were just advertising a load of Xbox games for Xbox. And yeah, I can't shake that criticism too much, because the stuff that they did show, they just didn't show enough of, or we don't know enough about.
Yeah, but what most people don't realize is when it comes to video game advertising, when you do something like this and you go, there's a PlayStation showcase and the vast majority watch it, the people that aren't huge into knowing what exclusives are what and all this kind of stuff, they see all of this and go, well, those all have to be on the PlayStation. These are all PlayStation games.
The positive thing of association, yes, and it can work a bit. But yeah, I know a bunch of people that
thought
they should have been in a position to be above that. And from what the sounds and noises they were making before this went out, I would have thought that we would have seen a little bit more from their own first-party studios and come out swinging a little bit harder in the way they indicated they were going to.
Right. I know Dan. He needs to go. Look at his little face.
Yeah.
He's got them blimps behind him.
I want to go.
He's got a hard out.
Can I go, please?
We will skip questions this week. We will skip all the gubbins and stuff. Do we have to do Tabletop Tuesday, Tim? Is that a big one this week?
No, we're playing a game. We're no feature game, but you can come along and play a game called Bristol 1350. It's about the Black Plague in Bristol.
Oh,
Makes
cheerful.
sense.
Yeah.
Gert Lush.
Not guaranteed to get the Black Plague while you are playing at Loading Bar
Nope.
in
Wash your hands.
Newington for
God damn it,
Tabletop
wash your hands.
Tuesday. What time should people go there for Tabletop Tuesday, Tim?
Generally come along for like 7:30, 8 o'clock, and we'll kick things off around that sort of time. If you want more details, there are more details on the top left-hand corner of bigredbarrel.com, or you can search for Tabletop Tuesdays on meetup.com.
Cool. Get your questions into
Other places you should go.
Get your questions, your comments, your suggestions, whatever you want to do that we can talk about on the show. You get into bigredbarrel.com, you go to our Discord link that is available also, not just on bigredbarrel.com, but also in the show notes of this here episode, along with all the other social media. That includes our Facebook, our Twitter at bigredbarrel.com, and also our YouTube, Big Red Barrel TV. If you're watching us on YouTube, please give us a like, please give us a subscribe. Make sure to give us a subscribe. Hit the bell. The bell icon will tell you when our episodes come out. And that's it.
Like, rate, subscribe. I tell you what, I feel like I'm 18 all over again. It's great. I feel like I could be an internet sensation.
Like, comment, subscribe. Yo, it's your boy.
Yo, it's your boy.
Hold on, where is it? I've lost my horn.
horn. Well, I'm so sorry to hear. I'm so sorry to hear.
I call it MLG.
It's all like hitting your bell, mate.
Yeah, it happens when you get over 40, Coleman. You just have to get used to it, I'm afraid.
Well, I had a sound called MLG horn, and I appear to have lost it. Would you like... here you go.
Shame.
There we go.
Shame.
Are you shaming your
I
soundboard?
think that's more appropriate.
Yeah,
Shame.
that's the one from Ted Lasso, by the way.
Shame.
That's the woman from Eurovision.
Oh, that too. Oh, yes.
That's it.
I've seen some GIFs.
Yeah. I'm sure you have.
All right, let's go.
On that note, we are definitely going to go. So thank you for downloading us and having us in your ear face holes. We'll be back next week where things start kicking up a gear. There's all kinds of... I think we're clearing the decks before the massive onslaught of Diablo 4 and all kinds of other stuff happens.
I don't know how
And I think still the inevitable instant drop of Forza Motorsport in June. I'm still going to bet my hopes on that. So yeah, there we go. Thank you for listening. And all that's really left is for me to remind you that I have been Dan.
I might have been Tim.
Oh, recording for way too long when Dan needs to run away. That is so chaotic. I have been chaos.
It is. Nice. So thank you one and all. We'll be back next week. Hopefully you will too. So until next time, dear listeners, Toodle bye.
I start to think that I'm the problem with the recording times.
I don't know. Like, if Dan hadn't spent all that time distracting you with blimps, then maybe we would have got through the whole thing a bit faster.
That
No. Tim, don't you start chirping up. We know it's definitely VR related.
You and your ears are quite welcome for the podcasting goodness that you just heard. Why not roll on over to BigRedBarrel.com for more podcasts, news, reviews, and videos from the biggest, reddest site on the internet, BigRedBarrel.com.
Yeah, I won't talk about this quite as much.
But it's also, as far as I'm concerned, it's another must-buy for the PSVR 2. Again, it's available on Quest. Again, it's been there's been a slight graphical upgrade for this, but it's not the most graphically impressive game. What I think is really impressive about this is they seem